afternoon. Welcome to Brussels. Welcome to the 6th edition of the European Research and Innovation Days 2025. To set the scene, a round of applause. Congratulations for all making it in. I believe there was a long queue, so we're so pleased to have you with us here in Brussels. And to get a flavour of the topics that we'll be diving into over the next 2 days here on stage, we can take a look at this scene-setting video.
We live in a fast-moving world. Europe needs science, research and innovation more than ever to remain competitive and address new challenges.
Scientific excellence can change the course of destiny.
This is why the European Commission has proposed an ambitious new Horizon Europe programme. It stands to become the EU's biggest ever such programme when it launches in 2028. The new programme will offer unparalleled opportunities to scientists, researchers, innovators, university and research institutions and businesses. It will build on decades of EU investment in areas that make a real difference to people, such as artificial intelligence, breakthroughs in health, energy, space, and green technologies to tackle climate change. Europe stands for academic freedom. It offers a safe harbour for the brightest minds from around the world. That is why we're inviting talented scientists and researchers to choose Europe. We are committed to making Europe a place where innovative businesses find fertile ground to start and scale. So, join the conversation at the EU Research and Innovation Days to shape a better future together.
So there you have it. You are in the right place at the right time to have this very important conversation. And I'm thrilled to be joining you for it. It's a very timely event. I'm Maeve McMahon, a journalist from Ireland based here in Brussels. And I'm thrilled to be here for what is not just actually a conference, but rather a hive of activity. There are over 3,000 participants here over the next few days. You might have caught that drone expo on your way in. There's a hive of activity, as I said. We'll have breakout sessions, 20 different panels taking place, and also extensive networking opportunities. And shortly, I'll be joined up on stage by the European Commissioner responsible for startups and research and innovation, Ekaterina Sarieva. But first, some opening words from the President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, about her plans to make Europe the best place for innovation and tech.
Ladies and gentlemen, last year I was in Geneva to mark 70 years of CERN, a monument of European innovation and collaboration. A scientist there said something which stayed with me. He said, "We're not here to do the impossible. We're here to do the unthinkable." End of quote. In one sentence, he captured something central to Europe's spirit. Our commitment to scientific discovery, our relentless curiosity, our drive to explore the unknown. It's the same spirit I see here every year at our Research and Innovation Days. From researchers using AI to detect the earliest signs of a stroke, to startups helping to give the visually impaired new freedom to navigate the world. We remain a continent of ingenuity, but we are also a continent ready to do more. And this Commission is determined to make Europe the best place in the world for research and innovation. So let me focus on 3 areas: talent, funding, and scaling up. First, talent. We already have a compelling offer with world-class facilities and high quality of life. Now we are making our pull even stronger. We launch a 500 million package to make Europe a magnet for global research over the next 2 years. We're doubling the top-up grant for those relocating to Europe. And we created a new 7-year super grant for world-leading scientists, providing them with long-term stability to pursue groundbreaking work. Because we know that every breakthrough begins with a brilliant mind, and we want those minds to choose Europe. Second, funding. Cutting-edge innovation needs stable investment. And that is why we're making Horizon Europe even stronger in our next long-term budget. It will continue as a standalone program focused on scientific excellence with a strong, independent European Research Council run by scientists for scientists. But now it will have even greater firepower with 175 billion, double the current budget. We know this is money that delivers. Horizon Europe has delivered countless breakthroughs, from digital to vaccines, as well as over 30 Nobel Prizes. And every euro invested is estimated to generate up to 11 euros in GDP gains by 2045. It shows that when Europe invests in science, the returns are measured in lives transformed. That leads me to my final point. We want to help more cutting-edge research develop into world-changing products and companies. And that's why the new long-term budget will unite Horizon scientific firepower with a new competitiveness fund. This will target the sectors that will define Europe's future, from artificial intelligence to clean tech. And it is why we have launched a new startup and scale-up strategy to remove regulatory barriers, close funding gaps, and unlock venture capital for high-risk, high-tech companies. Together, we can ensure that European ideas become the industries of tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, today's event is a chance to share ideas, forge partnerships, and turn ambition into action. A chance to keep dreaming and delivering the unthinkable, so that together we can make Europe the global lighthouse for research and innovation. Thank you very much, and long live Europe.
Round of applause. And heartiest thank you to the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen for those opening remarks and for sharing her plans to turn, quote, ambitions into actions. And she mentioned three themes: talent, funding, and scaling up. They're some of the topics we'll be diving deeper into here in the Gold Hall on the main stage, and also in the Copper and the Silver Hall. But now, as promised, it's time to invite up on stage the European Commissioner for Startups, Research and Innovation, Ekaterina Zarayeva.
Good afternoon to everybody. Dear friends, it's a real pleasure to see you face to face to celebrate European excellence. Unfortunately, there are still many people outside, and this room is too small to find place for everybody who want to participate in these 2 days events, which shows actually that the words that we work to put research and innovation at the hearts of European economy, but also I would say the hearts of Europeans is not just empty words, it's give results. The fact that I believe that there are really more than 1,000 people who are still trying to enter the event, but I'm sure that they will manage and they will participate in the rest of the program. But as I said, we're here to celebrate and to hear your ideas. There will be full days of discussions and panels, but also to celebrate the projects that are changing Europe, driven by your talent and our funding. And from, I was told that I haven't seen it. I hope that I'm going to see it during the exhibition that is organized, needle-free injections. The children will be very happy, but also people who are afraid from needles. to helicopters for search and rescue, clean helicopters. You saw maybe the drone exhibition outside. Unfortunately, since the awful war of aggression that Russia starts in Ukraine, in the people's minds, they link drones only with war and awful scenes, but we finance also drones who help people and save lives. So please, I invite you to visit also this exhibition outside this building. I want really to, we just heard our president, how passionate is she for research and innovation, and I want to stress her words that this commission is determined to make Europe the best place for R&I and for technology companies. This is key for our competitiveness. The president already highlighted some of our achievements during the last year. We have proposed doubling Horizon Europe. It's a big success. This shows that European Commission is really determined to deliver by saying that we want to put research and innovation in the heart of our competitiveness. Hopefully, during the negotiations, we are going to keep this budget, which is doubling actually the existing program. We presented plans to make Europe the home of startups, scale-ups, and life sciences. We adopted in May the first ever startup and scale-up strategy for European Union, which was very much welcomed by the stakeholders. We also adopted the life science strategy, but I'm very happy to announce that only yesterday the Commission adopted a new strategy for research and technology infrastructure. These initiatives prove we have momentum and a clear sense of direction. They shine the light of the current global context where science and innovation face a real pressure. And I'm non-stop hear a lot of stories, unfortunately not happy stories from across the Atlantic. Heard about a team of US scientists investigating a major crop disease. They suffered severe budget cuts and many of them lost their positions and their work. And one professor said, "I really fear for the future of science." Such a sad words, because I really believe there is no good future for our citizens without science. But in Europe, we don't fear for our future. The future of science is future of hope, and I would say once again, celebration. A few months ago, we announced the Choose Europe initiative, as President von der Leyen also mentioned in her speech. I was with her in Sorbonne, and it was a really remarkable day. The goal is to attract and retain also our talents here in Europe. And I can tell you that we already see the results of this initiative. Applications from outside Europe to the European Research Council have grown to almost 4 times the previous level. And actually the application for Maria Skłodowska-Curie actions are at the highest level ever since this initiative, this part of the program exists. So this shows that Choose Europe initiatives bring results. On the 1st of October, we are going to open a dedicated call in the Maria Skłodowska-Curie Choose Europe that will provide stable career opportunities for more than 100 young researchers, and we'll continue to do so next year. And we are not working alone. This is a teamwork, Team Europe work. I was really impressed how fast the member states react to the proposal of the European Commission. In the beginning, there were now 60 initiatives, then now already 70 national regional initiatives designed to attract researchers and talent and retain talent in Europe. For many, Europe is already a continent of opportunity, stability, and free knowledge. Let me give you one example. Dr. Marta Mallorquín Torres left her country, Mexico, with the hope of finding better research conditions. In Europe, she found the right support, a team of excellent minds, and cutting-edge laboratories. She joined the Horizon project, Transfarm at Ghent University, and there she is developing new pharma solutions from renewable resources. And this is just one of the thousands of stories that we can share with you with the support of Horizon. This year alone, our European Research Career Portal attracted more than twice as many visitors as last year. So our mission is clear: to prepare a bright future for science and innovation in Europe. With that in mind, we will enshrine scientific freedom into European law, we will improve research careers, and we will tackle the persistent obstacles faced by women in science. These are key objectives of the European Research Area Act that we will discuss tomorrow with part of the panel as well. Science is the basis of breakthrough innovation, and for this reason, I am also the first commissioner for startup. We will ensure that Europe is the best place in the world both to start and to scale company in Europe. This is why we are working on a new Scale Up Europe Fund with private investors, building on the success of the European Innovation Council. I was told that Draghi was mentioning our initiative for a Scale Up Europe Fund in his speech this morning. This is also why we will support the best accelerators in Europe to create a network of startup and scale-up hubs. It is possible to maintain a regulation with high standards. I really believe this, to keep the high standards that we are proud of in Europe, but at the same time to have innovation and business-friendly regulatory regulations, and we are really working to deliver on this. That is why we are going to propose a European regime for companies with accessible procurement for startups, with the regulatory sandboxes, and all the simplification that we work together with my team to deliver to our applicants and beneficiaries. We are going to propose everything what I mentioned in the beginning of next year with the European Innovation Act and the 28 regime. So, ladies and gentlemen, today is about looking ahead with confidence, I would say, and optimism. And I hope you will be inspired by talking with your colleagues, with each other, and looking forward to these very exciting 2 days of R&I in Brussels. Thanks so much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Commissioner, for those opening remarks and for telling us what you've been up to since you took over your mandate and also what we should look out for in the near future. So thank you so much for that. Don't go too far because you'll be back on stage very shortly. Because now it is time to find out a little bit more about the R&I Days 2025, what to expect here on stage and, of course, across the whole venue, the square here in Brussels, and how you can get the best and the most out of this event and use your time, of course, very wisely. For this, we can actually cross now live over to the exhibition area in the Grand Hall, where we're joined by Tony Lockett. Tony Lockett is the Head of Communications at the European Commission's RTD, and it's, of course, thanks to Tony and all his colleagues that we're here today. It's him and his team and all the various organizations that put this event together. So, Tony, great to see you there. You're down in the exhibition centre. Can we see you and hear you?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me, Maeve?
We can hear you perfectly. Yeah, great to see you there.
Great. Yeah, so I'm just a couple of floors down from where you are in the Gold Hall in our exhibition space.
You're in the Grand Hall. Okay, so apart from the 20 sessions that I already told our audience will be taking place on the various stages, there's that massive exhibition taking place as well where you are. Tell us more about it and how we can engage down there.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, we'd be really excited to welcome participants in the R&I Days down here in our exhibition space. Feel free to come around during the coffee breaks and the lunch breaks. We have an amazing lineup of around 17 EU-funded research projects here. The Commissioner mentioned a couple of them in her introductory remarks. So a project working on needle-free injections. We have a robot dog that's exploring deep mining. We have a revolutionary new kind of helicopter that can be used in rescue missions. And we have projects looking into everything from the health of our hearts to the health of our oceans. On top of that, we have colleagues who will be presenting EU funding opportunities and also being here on site to explain something about the various policy initiatives that we'll be talking about during the sessions. And to top it all off, we have an Agora space where we'll be having some side events, so to delve a bit deeper into some of the topics that are on our agenda here over the next couple of days.
And Tony, there's about 3,000 people in the square for the next 2 days. I know we have plenty of coffee breaks and networking opportunities, but there's also an app. How can people engage with that?
Absolutely. Well, I'd really encourage participants who are here physically to download the app. There are already several hundred people that have done so. And it offers you an opportunity to network, to find like-minded colleagues here on site and to fix up an appointment for coffee or a short meeting in the networking space. So we'll hope it'll be a useful tool and it will, enhance that networking side of the event.
And just finally, there's many watching us online as well here in Brussels. They can get involved in the conversation via Slido and also by expressing themselves on social media. A very short, brief message for them, Tony.
Absolutely. Well, on behalf of myself and the team, because obviously it's been a big team effort putting all of this together, we're really delighted to see so many people turning up here at the square after all these months of preparation. But we also know that there's a big online audience, and we would like to make this a valuable event for them. So as you say, they can join in the chats on our online community platform, they can join the conversation on social media, and of course they can follow all of the sessions in web streaming. So we hope that it will be a valuable experience for those of you here on site and also our online audience.
Wonderful, Tony Lockett. Thank you so much for that sneak preview of that exhibition. Enjoy the RNI Days.
Thanks, Maeve.
But now, it is time for our very first session of the RNI Days 2025, which is about that very important topic of Horizon Europe and the doubling of the funding. And as we're sitting here in the square in downtown Brussels, Mario Draghi, who just 1 year ago wrote that damning report about what the EU needs to do if it wants to survive, was giving a speech this morning saying that he welcomes this doubling of the funding, but it is still not enough. And that is why this panel, this high-level panel, is so important. So for this, we can invite up on stage once more the European Commissioner Zarieva, who needs, of course, no introduction. For this panel, we're also thrilled to get the perspective of an EU member state, of Austria, and bring in Eva Maria Holzleitner, that is the Minister for Women, Science and Research, who's joining us remotely. So great to have her with us as well. And for the perspective of a member of the Horizon Europe Expert Group, we're thrilled as well to have with us from the University of Lund in Sweden, from the School of Economics, Professor Sylvia Schwag-Zerger. Welcome. So, Commissioner, we'll let you catch your breath after your speech and perhaps start with the Minister and head over to Austria to bring in your perspective on perhaps the two main features that you'd like to see in the 10th Framework Programme. What are crucial, in your view, from your perspective there in Austria?
Dear Commissioner, dear distinguished co-panelists, I hope you can hear me.
Perfectly.
Perfect.
We can see you and hear you perfectly.
Perfect, perfect. Warm greetings from Vienna. It is a pleasure to contribute to today's discussion. And it's a pity that I'm not able to be with you on site in Brussels, but I'm looking forward to see especially you, dear Commissioner, in Brussels soon at the next Council meetings. Let me stress that I appreciate the fact that the European Commission has put forward a proposal for a self-standing Horizon program with a strong budget. This is an important signal to our R&I community that advocated for a separate framework program on many occasions. By providing higher budgets to the European Research Council, the Marie Skłodowska-Curie activities, and the European Innovation Council, The program will be able to fund excellent researchers at different career stages and in diverse research fields, as well as innovative small companies. And also, the focus on women is very important because we need all the clever brains we can get for the best results in science and research. A second very prominent feature of the proposal is the strong link to the European Competitiveness Fund. We are still in the early phase of negotiations, and the ECF could be a chance to cover the full innovation pipeline if we set the right framework conditions. Let me also add that academic freedom is a cornerstone of competitiveness, and especially in these times, we need to protect scientists' open research, critical inquiry, and the exchange of diverse ideas without political interference. I want to make 3 points. You asked for 2, but I think 3 are very important as a member state. The first one, each of the 4 policy windows of the ECF include an R&I component to support collaborative research with the general objective to increase competitiveness in Europe. But European programs, no matter how big they are, will not be enough for Europe to become more competitive. We need a joint effort of private and public R&I investments across all member states. Therefore, member states, as mine, should be more involved in the agenda setting of the R&I components of the 4 policy windows that the current proposal of the Commission suggests. The second issue concerns the wide range of societal challenges that seem to become marginalized both in Horizon Europe and in the ECF. Research must drive economic growth and actively advance the well-being of people, nature, and the earth. For example, in the health domain, we need more research on how to improve public health or how to better motivate people to participate in prevention and screening programs. Usually for this type of questions, the research outcome is less relevant for economic products, but very relevant for the progress of our society. The same is true for research into natural resources and climate action. The current proposal puts too much emphasis on short-term competitiveness, leaving insufficient room for the long-term preservation of natural resources as well as social innovations for climate adaptation. During the negotiations, we will see how to re-establish some of the missing topics in Horizon Europe. And the third and last issue concerns the effort of improve the resilience and security of Europe. Nobody doubts the importance of a more unified response to geopolitical tensions. However, science and research should reflect more about how we can prevent conflicts before they escalate into military confrontations. Horizon Europe should foster science and research regarding the broader scope of security, especially conflict resolution, peace building and peacekeeping, and also peace technologies. After all, the European Union is a Nobel Peace Prize laureate for good reasons, and because of this, I launched this idea during the last informal meeting of research ministers in Copenhagen in July, and I hope that we will build a broad coalition of like-minded partners for peace-related research also in the next framework program.
Okay, Minister, thank you so much. Round of applause. So 3 key points there clearly described by the Minister, what she wants to see. Thank you so much for that. And stay with us for the whole panel. While we bring in the Commissioner, perhaps, for your take on which 2 features should be in the FP10.
Thanks, Maeve. We will spend a long time with you these days. We started yesterday discussing the startup and scale-ups with the participation of the stakeholders, and today the first panel, I really believe that is very, very important because it will determine and the next 10 years how the RNI in Europe will develop. Of course, as the Minister said, no matter how big the public funds are, they double the budget, even if the budget was tripled, the public investment will be never enough. So we should really join efforts with the private sector, with the member states, for better synergies, better strategies, and more impact to the European society. So with that, I completely agree with her. And this is actually the goal of the European Commission. And all the strategies, for some they may sound like a lot of strategies, but also the acts that we are going to propose, ERA Act, for example, for really better coordination with the member state, so-called the fifth freedom, as Letta was calling this the fifth freedom, but this really free movement of talent and knowledge around our member states. It's continuation or tradition and novelty. This is the two things that we at least try to present with our proposal. And I'm very grateful to my team, to the DG, to my cabinet, and all the people who work this to happen. And actually today to celebrate that we have a self-standing program, as all of you demand from the Commission, with much more stronger budget. So this allowed us actually to present these novelties, keeping the structure which works well, but also improving what should be improved. Because my message to the scientists and the people and the stakeholders who I meet, and I'm very grateful for their honest exchange of opinion with me during these 8 months since I became commissioner, it's always the same. We should understand that with the budget constraints and the geopolitical situation that happen, the money of Horizon is not given. We are not going to receive more for the same. We should also change. We should also show the added value to European citizens. And I'm very grateful that they react and they see them more and more go to public, explain what actually they're delivering, what they're doing. So that's why we presented this novelty, keeping the well structure, what works well, excellent, European Research Council, doubling the budget. This is what we need, more money to be able to finance excellent projects that unfortunately, due to lack of budget, remain unfunded. But European Innovation Council also, here we propose tripling the budget because it's really low now. The success rate in some of the course days is like 4%. Because if you want to be serious that we want to keep the talent in Europe and we want to support scaling up Europe as well, we should also show through the budget support. But also more reforms that are needed. We should be more brave, I would say. Trust more to our program managers. Give them more power to boost and to support what works and to stop what not works. Because in Europe we should realize that if you're doing science and innovation, no matter how hard you try, and you're creating startups, it's possible to fail. But it's not a big drama to fail. This is something that we should learn in Europe, that failure is also part of the development of the process to be successful. So without trying, so I always say in the country that I know best and I'm born, people who don't work, they are not doing mistakes. I mean, if you work hard, it's normal that from time to time you're doing mistakes. So reforms also in pure too, and so cooperative part. We try to be more focused and really align with the windows in the new fund that we proposed, ECF, European Competitiveness Fund. Because always we said we have excellent research, excellent innovation, but somehow we fail to deploy this discovery, these breakthrough innovations to the market. So we think that with this we are going to support our innovators and our scientists to bring their discovery to the market in benefits of the European citizens. And the fourth pillar, which is new, this is research and innovation infrastructure and ERA, European Research Area. So this, we believe, is also important for our scientists, because we believe the scientists need a state-of-the-art infrastructure, but also our private sector. I talk too much, sorry, I'll stop here to be able to answer the questions.
Well, you've a lot on your mind, Commissioner. It's a very busy time for you. And as also Mario Draghi said this morning in that speech, that we do need to increase speed in the EU, so there is no time to waste. Let's bring in now the perspective of the professor on all this. What two features would you like to see, and perhaps some reactions as well to what you've heard so far from the Minister and the Commissioner?
Thank you very much. Yeah, and I had the privilege of being a member of the group that made the proposals for the interim evaluation of the Horizon program. And just some short points. First of all, I fully agree, I think, with the previous two speakers. I think this is an ambitious proposal. We are very happy, or I'm very happy from the expert group, that I think a lot of our proposals were listened to. For example, the proposal on dual use, but also the proposal on strengthening international collaboration. I think we all agree, the previous speaker, also the Minister, agree on the importance that the European Research Council is, it is one of Europe's big assets, and we need to strengthen it. So I think there are a lot of positives here. Also, for example, the ambition, as you said, the significant increase of the framework program. So that's the first point. I think this program says all the right things, and it has a high level of ambition, and it is also trying to break new ground, as you said, Commissioner, for example, with dual use, and as we advocated, radical simplification. My big concern is that we presented the report to the Commissioner in October last year. It's not even a year ago. But since then, the world, it seems, has changed another 360 degrees. I think one of the things that we all have, maybe, or I have when I go to sleep at night, is we know there have been 3 military parades in the course of the last year. Russia, the US, and China. And I don't know which one you thought, but I think it's pretty clear which one was the most impressive and professional. And this is something we have to deal with. This world is moving at such warp speed, and the thing that's driving the world development is technology. So there was a high-level conference with top founders from Silicon Valley in the AI industry and Nobel Prize winners in AI, and they were saying, it's so unfortunate that not only do we have disruptive technology, but we also have these geopolitical problems. Well, I would turn it around and I would say, I think we need to understand that it's technology that's shaping the new world order. It's technology that's driving geopolitics. And here my concern is, as I think other speakers have said before, Europe is strong in science, and it needs to remain strong in science. Where Europe has, in my mind, still a weakness is in technology. And here we need to focus a lot more on technology adoption, and I think I very much welcome also the strategy that was presented on research and technology infrastructures. I think it's going to be hugely important. But Europe's weakness, when you look at the data, is that our investment gap is in the private sector. And it's in the private sector, in large companies, not only in startups, but also in existing companies that technology is adopted and developed. So I think we need to focus a lot on how we can speed up technology adoption and development. And there I think industry plays a huge role.
And just briefly, Professor, this morning in Mario Draghi's speech, he alluded to the AI Act that, of course, the EU and the institutions are very proud of, but he proposed the idea of pausing it for that very reason you're mentioning.
So this is a really interesting question. I would like to, again, turn it around. I think that the thing that we need to realize right now is that, as I said, technology is driving power. And if we are not at the top of the technological development ladder, then we're not at the table when important things are being discussed. I think that China and the US are right now locked in a, I would almost say, a brutal or a ruthless race for the mastery of AI. And for the dominance of AI. And I think it is so important that Europe, which, with its democratic and its scientific values, is part of this conversation to make sure that we are not locked in a chicken race. But in order to be there, we also need to be part of the development, and we're not there. So right now, I guess the question would be, I think it's almost the wrong question to say whether we should pause it. I would prefer that we focus on how we can be part of setting the terms of how we use AI responsibly and progressively. But people don't listen if you're not part of the elite.
Well, as they say, if you're not on the table, you're perhaps on the menu.
Exactly.
Let's bring in the perspective of the Minister, who's been listening along there to us. That keyword, simplification, we've been hearing it a lot in the last few months here in Brussels. What would you like to see in the Horizon Europe programme to address this very urgent and tricky issue?
It is a very important issue, but we still need to understand the proposal in full detail, which is also valid for the concrete implications of the proposed simplification measures for future beneficiaries of Horizon Europe. From my discussions with Austrian stakeholders, I know that simplification is essential for our researchers and innovators. I therefore strongly welcome the shorter time to information and the shorter time to grant, for instance. It will also be useful to establish a single gateway as a one-stop shop for information about funding opportunities, application modalities, and data stemming for the monitoring exercises. This is also very important for acting faster, as said before in the discussion. And while I acknowledge the good intentions of the Commission, it remains to be seen in practice if the complex funding landscape for collaborative research in Horizon Europe and the ECF with different objectives and different eligibility rules will really be simpler for participants, because that would be the key to really simplification, that it is simpler for participants in general.
Let's bring in the Commissioner on that point.
This morning, actually, I started the day with, first of all, I think we should not wait for the next program to come to simplify. We have 2.5 years. So we should do now as much as possible, having in mind that we have the limits in the current regulations to simplify the Horizon Europe. So there's 2.5 years, and the professor said the world is changing so fast, it's less than a year. I remember I was meeting some of you while I was preparing for my hearing, because we were just announcing the report to understand more. I was talking with you, and it's like, for me, in my perception, the world is changing so fast and so different that it was like 10 years ago. So we don't have time to lose, wait for the next 28 to come to simplify and to speed up the process. That's first. So I spent 2 hours actually this morning in dialogue with the stakeholders, exactly focus on the process of applications in Horizon. It was the journey, I mean, submitting the proposal, applications, evaluation, and then the simplification, lump sums, and cost options that we did propose. Very in-depth analysis what we can do. And I can tell you that we already have proposed, we launched, I encourage you to download the app. It's EU Fund and Me app, which is really easy, hopefully. I was told that it will be much more easy and helpful for the stakeholders to find their concrete call that suits for them. It's really to find the appropriate measures and support in the European funds. I agree with the Minister that, of course, about to see and develop the other documents, how this link between the applied part of cooperation, competitiveness is society, as we call it in our window, and European Competitiveness Fund will work. But what we did propose is really one program with dedicated part for Horizon Europe, and really one single rule book. You can see in the 2 regulations. So we really believe that this will make the life of the applicants easier. But I am agreed that the goal is different. And I have heard a lot from the stakeholders, and I completely agree with this, and you can see this in our regulation, that we should have also a really very important, much more open calls that mean much more bottom-up calls. Because I believe that the private sector and the scientists know better than us what they need. And this will give them much bigger flexibility to how they structure really their partnerships and how they develop their projects. So we should stop to be so that prescriptive. I think we should trust more to our scientists and our private sector. Of course, having in mind that This is taxpayers' money, and we invest the taxpayers' money. It should be accountable, very transparent, and so on and so forth. But I believe that we can do both.
Do you believe we can do both, Sylvia?
I do think we can do both. I think we need to use this moment, as the Commissioner said, I mean, simplification, and I really welcome the work on simplification, but I think we need to remember it's not trivial, really driving, and we called for radical simplification, which is also why we called for an experimentation unit so we can explore new ways of funding. Because one thing that we see across Europe is the public funders, and I myself have worked, and I'm chairing one of the public research agencies, I'm the chair of the board of one of the public research agencies in Sweden, how hard it is for public research funders to truly revolutionize how we allocate, how we make calls, how we select funders, how we work our funding, how we work with AI. So I think it's a very important work that needs to be done, and it needs to be done sort of in real time. I also want to say one point to the Minister. I completely also agree with this need for combining competitiveness and sustainability. And in our report, we proposed a definition of competitiveness which incorporates sustainability into it. So I think we can do it, we can combine things, and we have to combine things. And I think that in a way, we talk a lot about competitiveness, but right now, it's about much more than economic competitiveness. I think we're in a systemic competition where we have to prove that our system, the European system, can actually deliver. It can deliver on excellence, it can deliver on sustainability, and it can deliver also on the promise of a better future for our citizens. So I think this is the competition we're facing, and in order to do that, we have to be willing to disrupt ourselves fundamentally and in real time. And that is sort of the thing. As somebody who's been observing the scientific development in China for the last 15 years, I've seen the speed coming, the wave, and I just feel that I'm not sure we fully understand the changing world order we're entering.
Have we been snoozing, perhaps? But just, Commissioner, to go back to the budget, as Mario Draghi said this morning, increasing it to 170 billion is welcome, but it's not enough. And we know to reach the targets, the R&I investment targets, it won't be enough. So what could be done more to support member states to invest in R&I, perhaps on a national level?
What we can do more, first of all, I'm pretty much sure that the member states realize that it's really important to invest more, because I believe that the best invest money for the future of the European citizens is money in education and research and innovation. But that's why I mentioned the budget restrictions, really. And if you see the level of public investment in Europe in general, it's even above what is public investment in China, and a bit above the United States. So what is a problem? It's really this private investment. What we do, it's actually through the European semester, starting from this year, we recommend the member states, together of course with them, good practices how to boost investment coming from the private sector, and how you motivate the private sector to invest. Simplification, harmonization, and incentives for them. These are the three things, I think, and this is what we actually recommend to the member states. Represent, for example, tax exempt for the companies who invest in R&I. I mean, better synergy between the programs. What we work, for example, now with the private sector, we want to lead by example, working to create this Scale Up Europe Fund, co-invest with them, cover their first risk. This is the way that we can support also to increase and to fill the gap. Use the instruments to incentivize the private sector to invest in R&I.
And the momentum seems to be there. Minister, let's bring you in as well on that point, perhaps, on what support you as a member state needs from Brussels, from the Commission on this point.
As a member state, I'm convinced that we also have to do our homework. And as Austrian minister, I could be satisfied that Austria is one of the few member states that outperforms the 3% target. In 2024, our research quota reached 3.35%. But however, it is not a secret that Austria, like other fellow member states, is currently struggling with its budgetary situation. But we need to invest strategically and coordinated, and with the intention to create the best possible impact. In this context, member states need to understand better how the coordination mechanism between European and national R&I initiatives will work in the future. So far, many buzzwords fly around, such as European coordination tool, a reformed European semester, moonshot initiatives, or the idea of an ERA Act in 2026. Whatever happens, the Commission and the Member States should work together to increase the impact of R&I, while at the same time also increase their investment levels for R&I in Member States itself. So discussing here at an all-female panel is, to be honest, really nice. And so I'm convinced, as the professor said before, if we are putting all efforts together, we can deliver as European Union. And I want also to support Commissioner Sarajeva, because investments in R&I are investments in our common future. So the EU and the Commission has to do their homework, but also we as a member states need to focus also on investment in R&I, and also have to motivate the private sector to invest. So it's an effort of everyone to really to really deliver in the best way we can do as European Union.
So we just need everyone to get along, and then it would be easier.
Yes.
Professor, what is feasible in your view?
Well, if I can just say one thing, I completely agree. We need to be strategic. We need to, as you said, be bold. I also want to fully underline the 28th regime and completing the single market. These are huge drivers of private investment. One of the things we've done, I think, as the minister said, to be more strategic. So, for example, Sweden has traditionally been at the top of the European Innovation Scoreboard, innovation leader. We have in the EU the highest number of unicorns per capita. But I think we're the first member country, and as the president of the Academy of Engineering, I just asked the same people who did the technology analysis for the Draghi report to do a technology analysis for Sweden, because we really need to understand where we are. We need to have an honest conversation. What are we good at? Where is our technology leadership, and how do we prioritize? And then, one of the things that I take with me is that it's great to be the top of the European Innovation Scoreboard, but I'm not sure we're always we have the right benchmark. We're dealing with a much tougher competition. And the indicators of the European Innovation Scoreboard, they are more, they're more testimony to the past. They're not a predictor of a future when you're working with this tremendous speed that we're dealing with. So I think that's something we need to do. Understand where we are and then move forward, as you said, together, and all assume our responsibility.
Just one final question, perhaps, from the Commission. Inside the college, in the 27 commissioners, are you having that frank conversation? Is there a realization of what is at stake?
Of course, it's a teamwork. It's a proposal of the college. It's not proposal of the Commissioner for Startup Research and Innovation. And we are having a really frank conversation. And if you see, everything is very interlinked, because we talk a lot about the startup scale-up strategy, but it didn't come alone. Single market was mentioned, and I really believe this is the key.
Yeah.
If you want to boost and reach this 3%, actually 3% is even not enough already. It should be 4%. But this is the way to motivate the private sector, because if they're losing more time, more money, and compare with our main competitors to reach the market, what's the sense for them to invest in Europe? I mean, it's so easy, so simple. So that's why we have the single market strategy. Of course, we're discussing, this is key strategy, that's why we have same investment union strategy. And as Minister said, we should really be a bit more focused. Moonshots, that's why we did propose the moonshots. Maybe it's a bit unclear, but that's why it's not in regulation. But I believe it's clear. We wanted to show that we should use the centralized managed program for the big projects. That can really bring us to the future. Be more bold, be more, not just thinking, not to lose the race. I mean, we should lead, not to catch up the others. Exactly. We should be more ambitious, and we have everything that we need. We have the talented people in the world, the best education in the world. We are a rich continent. We are the bigger market than United States. We are more people, and we are the best place for live. So people are happier here. So now we should stop thinking too nationalistic and what I'm going to lose if I complete the single market, and think rather that we are stronger if we are united and we finally tackle this fragmentation. So this is, I think, the message that I want to deliver to everybody who are participating in this panel. The only chance to be competitive and to be on the table, as you said, is complete the single market.
Yeah, okay. And on that, yeah, kind of what? And on that very important point, we can bring this conversation to an end. I'd like to thank the Minister, Eva Maria Holtleitner, for joining us from Austria today and being with us. Thank you so much. Also, Professor Sylvia Schwagsäger, thank you so much for your insights, fascinating insights, and also to the Commissioner. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon back on stage.
Thank you.
You were great.
Thank you.
You should speak.
Yes. Yes.
So now it is time to take a very short break here in the main stage in the Gold Hall at the R&I Days 2025. We'll be meeting back here in 15 minutes, so that's at 3:15, to dive into that exciting topic of startups and scale-ups. See you then.
It's a mystery to me. We have agreed with which we have agreed. And you think you have to want more than you